Now, regardless what kind of app you're using, whether it's browsing an e-commerce site for a new product to buy, or browsing Netflix for a cool new show to watch, or browsing your favorite social media site and trying to see what kind of people to follow, at play behind the scenes, there's a finely tuned, constantly evolving, constantly learning recommendation engine. And so this engine is constantly trying to figure out, constantly trying to predict and show you the kind of products you may be interested in, or the kind of shows you may be interested in watching, or the kind of people you may be interested in following. And at the end of the day, this engine is going to be responsible for your satisfaction on the site. It's going to be responsible for making sure whether your time is well spent or your time is ultimately wasted. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can build your very own custom recommendation engine to do anything that you want. So whether you want to build your own e-commerce site, whether you want to build your next killer dating app, or you want to build another social networking site, you need a recommendation engine. And the method I'm going to be showing you today uses AI and is completely adaptable to any kind of application, to any kind of task. So regardless what kind of app you are interested in building, you will be able to adapt this recommendation engine right now, today, and build the app that your users will absolutely love. Now, before we continue, just like with all the apps that I built on this channel, the app that I'm going to be building today is going to be available on my Patreon page, which you're going to see a link in the description below. Now, the first thing that I want to show you is how this recommendation engine is going to work. Okay, so here we have a diagram, and what we have here is three hypothetical people that have various interests. Okay, so we have here person A, and this person is interested in product A, in product B. Maybe these are the products they bought in the past. Maybe these are people that they're following. They like their tweets, maybe on Twitter. It doesn't really matter, but we know that this person likes these particular products. The next person here, we have person B, and this person likes a couple of other products. So maybe they like completely different products than this first person, or maybe they're similar but still different. We're going to call these product X and product Y. And then last but not least, we have person C, our third person here, that likes yet other products. Okay, these are product 1 and product 2. And just like with the previous example, these could be completely different products than any of these, or they can be fairly similar. It doesn't really matter. The point is, we have this information. And then someone like you comes along, or the user, and the user is interacting with maybe one of these users or a couple of these users. So for instance, if I log into, let's say, Twitter, and I am reading tweets from these three users, and I like this tweet, or I follow this user. Now we know that the person in question, so the user, has an association. So they liked this user. And because they like this user, we want to show them similar products that they may be interested in. And obviously, we can track if they like another user, maybe they like, 20% of this person's tweets, or 20% of this user's products, or 80% of this user's products. But the point is, now we have some data. And as a result of having this data, we can predict the kind of products they may be interested in. We can have an accurate prediction based on the people they like and the products that those people whom they like actually like. And remember, we can easily make this whole engine dynamic. We can keep track of the products that each of these people like. We can keep track of whether they like new products, and we can update our recommendations and update our predictions. All right, so now that you have a general architecture of how we are going to be building this engine, the relationships with different people, the products, the taste, the interest, etc., etc., let me show you a tool that's going to help you build this engine. And then we're going to jump into FlutterFlow, a no-code builder. And I'm going to show you a working proof of concept that's able to make various recommendations. If you head over to OpenAI, that's beta.openai.com, you're going to be on a site that allows you to do some amazing AI stuff. And this site is called GPT-3. This is similar to Chat GPT-3 that's making the rounds all over the internet. It's kind of the precursor to Chat GPT-3. And this is a very, very powerful AI system that can do for you some amazing, amazing things, as you're going to see in a second. So once you're on the site, you're going to go into Playground. So if you open up Playground, you're going to be on a page that looks something like this. And there are a couple of things that you can do. Okay, you can click here and you can load various presets. Okay, you can, get it to chat, you can get it to explain code, classification, things like that. But the nicest thing about this is that you can tell it what you want it to do. Now, if I paste the following instruction here, you can see that we can actually tell it what to do by giving it additional information. So for instance, we are telling it that person A likes the following. Person A likes cookies, bananas, and chocolate, whereas person B likes steak, burgers, French fries, and hot dogs. Okay, so we told it, we gave him some data. And next we tell it, I like person A, so recommend me products I might like using a list of items separated by a comma. Okay? And so if we execute this now, we should hopefully get something similar to what person A likes. So person A likes cookies, bananas, and chocolate. And we're getting cookies, bananas, chocolate, ice cream, cake, candy, muffin, granola bars, smoothies, yogurt, fruit, and popcorn. And so it went ahead and recommended to me stuff that's very, very similar. Now, if I delete this and say, well, I like person B. Now, recommend me products I might like using a list of items separated by a comma. I'm going to hit submit. And I am getting steak, burgers, French fries, which are the things that person B likes, but also new things such as hot dogs, chips, onion rings, coleslaw, milkshakes, ice cream, etc., etc. And so you can obviously see the pattern here, right? Person A likes, sweet things in this example, cookies, bananas, and chocolate. Person B kind of likes junk food, we can say. And we are getting recommendation for kind of junk food stuff, right? Pizzas, tacos, burritos, nachos, etc., etc. At least we see a pattern. We see a clear pattern. Now, you can introduce another person here. You can have as many people as you want. But this is a small example just to illustrate to you how we can use this system here, this AI system, this GPT-3 system, as an engine for our custom whatever, right? So maybe person A likes computers, or person A likes these books, or person A likes these Netflix movies, or person B likes something else. It doesn't really matter what it is. The point is we can teach it, we can give it data, and then we can tell it what to do with that data. Okay, so now that you saw everything, let me show you the proof of concept where I built an app based on the system that does exactly that. So I'm going to head into FlutterFlow and I'm going to show you an app. So here's my app. And before I show you exactly how it works and what it does, etc., etc., let me run this app and just to show you how it works so that you have a better understanding. So we're going to click here. We are going to create a quick test environment. We're going to wait for this to load and I'm going to show you exactly what it does. All right, so here's the app. It's called NoCode R Engine. And this app has a couple of components. The first component is this area here that's going to be displaying a response. So right now it's telling us pick a person. Okay, it doesn't know what to recommend us until we actually tell it what kind of people we like, what kind of people we associate ourselves with more. Next, we are listing the people, and then we're also listing the things that they like. And we're actually getting this from a Firestore DB. So if I'm going to go into my Firestore, I have this R engine here, and this has two documents. Okay, so here's the first document. We have person B and we have person A, and we have their, interests, their products, whatever. as a string separated by commas. Okay, very, very simple. And inside the app, we're simply listing the person and the products. We broke apart that string by comma, and we're just listing the items. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. And then we have the second person, same thing. Now, if I click on this person, it should recommend me things similar to what this person likes. So I'm going to click on this person. I'm going to wait for it to send the request. And now we got it back. So it's recommending me pizza, tacos, burritos, ice cream, etc., which is kind of similar to this person's interest. Now, let's say I click on this person. It should hopefully recommend me something from this set, something similar to these things here. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to wait for it for the request. There we have it. Pineapple, mango, kiwi, avocado, papaya, coconut, lychee. I can click back on this person, and it's going to show me the previous results here. I can click back here, and it's going to send that request, and it's going to update it. Okay. So obviously you can do a lot with this app. First of all, you can make it work with any products, any interest, doesn't really matter. Second of all, you can have as many people as you want. You can also modify it so it's taking into account, how many likes, maybe you like this person, 20%, maybe you like this one 80%. You can make it more complicated. All of that is very, very trivial. Now, in order to do that, let me show you how the app works. Now, before I show you how this app works, the first thing that you have to do to make it work is you need to go back to the site, beta.openai.com, and you need to come here and you need to view API keys, and you need to create your own API key. Okay. Once you have your API key, you can go back into FlutterFlow here, and you can come into API calls and you can configure it. Now, there's a bunch of settings here. So we have this URL that we need to post to. How do I know this URL? Well, if you go back into beta.openai, this playground, and you click on view code, you're going to see this request here. So you're going to see this URL. You need to post to this URL. You have two headers, right? Content type, application /JSON. And then you have authorization, bearer, your API key, and then you have all of these things, right? This is straight from the website, right? I'm not, experimenting with anything. This is straight from the website. And if we go back to our app, you can see we have this URL, we have two headers. This is a key, and you need to make sure you get your own key because this key is not going to work. Then you can go into body, and we have the body. This thing here is a variable. This is what we're posting. This is the prompt. So if I go into response and test, and let's say I say, what is 1 + 1, and I do test API call, I'm going to get a response. I have this text. And then what you want to do is you want to go into recommended, and you want to find this, this value here, because you're going to see a lot of values here, right? And you want to say selected. Once you, click this, once you select this, you go back to selected, you should see it. Give this a name because you're going to be referencing it from inside your app. So I called it answer. You can call it response. Doesn't really matter. And you want to save it, right? I already have it saved. So once you've configured that, the next thing is building the app. Okay. So what do we need to do? Well, I have local store here, local state, and I have two fields here. The first is the response. We need to have the response because we are loading this field from local state, and we are setting that field inside the API call when we are sending the request. I'm going to show you that in a second. But the second thing here, this like person, we need to track of the person that I click. So if I click on person A, we need to set it to person A. If I click on person B, we need to set it to person B. Very, very important. So we have that. This clean text here is a custom function. So if we go over here, we have clean text. And that is using this trim method, which essentially removes empty spaces around it. That way it's a nice text. Because if you come over here and you do a response, you're going to see that it's actually something that needs to be clean. You see, this is this text here. And all we need is this. We need to remove this, end line, this new line here. And that's what that trim does. So I'm just cleaning it up. Next, we have this list view here. Okay. And what this list view is doing is doing a backend query where we're just pulling up all the documents, so all the users. But I also have another list view inside of it that essentially takes the individual likes the products. Remember, it's a string of separated by commas, and I'm creating a list out of it. And that's also a custom function right here. This is the function. We're just splitting that string by commas, and that gives me an array. And with an array, I can actually use it inside a list because the list needs an array. It cannot do anything with a string. And so I'm displaying the name, and then I'm displaying the individual likes. Very, very simple. That's all I'm doing. And then I have an action here. So if they click on the container, I can open this up. And the first thing that we're doing is we're updating local state. We need to update, the person that I'm interested in, the person that I like. That way I can send a request and say, well, these are the two people, but I like this person. Recommend me something similar to that person. I need to store this. So once we click on the item, we're updating local state. I'm setting like person to the name of the document. Remember, we have those documents. So all I'm doing is I'm setting the local state like person to the name of the document. So remember, we're listing the documents. This could be person A, person B. If I click on person B, it's going to set local state to person B. If I click on person A, it's going to set local state to person A. Next, we're doing a backend call, okay? And this is kind of the biggest part of the app, is we need to create this backend call. Remember, what we want to do here is we want to basically generate this call here, because that is kind of what we are working with. I mean, you can formulate that using different ways. You can do all kinds of different things, but that is kind of what I decided to go with. Okay, so if we come over here, what we are doing here is we're sending a question, but we have a function called generate GTP request. Okay, so if we edit this function, all this function is getting, it's getting person 1, right? It's getting their likes. It's getting person 2 likes. And then we are also passing the person that I liked, which are the 3 things that we need, right? So if you go back here, we need this. This is the first thing that we need. We need this. This is the second thing. And then we need to specify who we like. So we need to pass 3 things. And that is kind of what I'm doing. I'm passing 3 things here. And then I'm generating this exact string, this exact piece of text that is going to be sent to a request for a request. Now, the way that I'm generating, very, very important to understand, okay? Very, very crucial. So at the top here, I'm pulling up all the documents, right? This at all the way at the top of this page, I'm pulling up all the documents. Adding backend query, I'm just pulling in all the documents. And then what I'm doing is whenever we actually click on it, right? So this container, open it up. In order to pass the values to this function, we need to filter it, right? Because person 1 is a specific person. Person 2 is a specific person. So what I'm doing is before I'm passing is I'm doing filtering. I'm saying, find me a document where the name equals person A and all the likes, and take all the likes and just pass those likes from person A. This is very, very powerful and very underrated functionality from FlutterFlow. You have to be using it. I was amazed when I discovered that you can do it, because otherwise it'd just be a pain, because I'll have to do a bunch of other custom functions. And so for person A, I'm passing person A. Person 1, I'm passing person A, their likes. For person 2, I'm passing person B, their likes. And then for like person, I'm passing the local state. Okay, exactly like I described. So we're passing this, we're getting a result, and then we have an if condition. We have a condition. We're saying if it's successful, update local state with the response. And the response is that answer. Remember, we stored that answer in our API call. If it's failed, just set the value, set the response, an error has occurred. And that means that this thing, instead of a response, instead of being blank and showing nothing, it's going to display a descriptive text. Basically, an error has occurred. That way the person knows that something wrong has happened. Something didn't go as planned. And they can maybe, take a look. They can, try to fix it. But at least the user knows that something didn't work out. But for the most part, right, if, your API is working, everything is working, you have your data, you should not be getting this error. And as a result, when you run this app, when you click on something, it generates that request, sends it, gets a response, cleans it, sets the local variable where this is actually pulling it from a local variable, and displays it. Now, obviously, this is just a proof of concept. When you're going to be building your own apps, you're not going to have an app like this. You're going to adapt it to your needs. You're going to adapt it to your database. You're going to adapt it to your app, your logic, right? So for instance, if you're building like a movie recommendation app, right? You're going to have maybe a different database structure. You're going to have different text, etc., etc. But the heart of it all is being able to capture this data, format it in a way that I was able to get it to work here. Maybe you'll be able to get it to work differently, then you can format it differently. But this is as good of a start as any, right? If you're not sure how to do it, just use my method here, right? You can have 20 users, you can generate, 20 different lines followed by 20, whatever, 5 interests each or 10 interests each. It doesn't really matter. And then you can say, well, I like person B, recommend me their products. Or you can say, I like person B 20% of the time, but I also like person A 80% of the time. Recommend me some products. It will be able to do that as well. There's a lot of flexibility. And so there are two things you have to understand: how to formulate this, and you can use what I have here, and then how to do it using FlutterFlow or maybe another no-code tool of choice. Maybe you're using something else. Then you will be able to formulate that API request and do it that way. And so this is a very, very flexible app. You can get it to do exactly what you want. And if you implement this inside of your app, regardless of what kind of app you're building, I'm sure you're going to delight your users, and they're going to be a lot more satisfied using your app because you're going to be able to predict their interests and show them things that they are going to be interested in, which is going to lead to higher user satisfaction and even higher user retention. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you are interested in upping your no-code game this year, you're interested in really taking it seriously, you're interested in building some amazing apps, and trust me, with the tools that we have right now, you can build some truly, truly incredible, amazing apps before everybody else. You have a really nice head start right now because there's some amazing AI tools that are coming out. And so there has never been a better time to build apps with no code. And so if that sounds like you definitely want to check out my Patreon page. Not only will you get access to all FlutterFlow apps that I built, including this one, so you can go straight ahead, view and or clone it and take the stuff that I have here and implement it inside of your own apps. But not only that, you also get access to extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind the scenes content, and my exclusive masterclass series. And in fact, by the time you're watching this video, there's going to be another masterclass that would have been released on my Patreon page for my supporters. And so you're going to be getting a ton of extra content. You're going to be joining an amazing community. Plus, you're going to be supporting this channel and supporting my work. And so if no code is something you want to take seriously, you want to build some amazing, amazing apps, definitely check out my Patreon page and consider becoming a member. You will definitely not regret it. And so this will do it for today's video. I really, really hope you've gotten some value out of it, gotten some interesting ideas for your future project or maybe for your existing app. If you did enjoy it, I would highly appreciate a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a future video.